Howdy. Today we're going to talk about what could possibly be Pixar's most important movie. Now, I know what you're saying. You've seen the thumbnail, you've seen the title. What the fuck is this guy talking about? And let me be clear. Most important doesn't necessarily indicate the best. I think Incredibles, Monsters, Inc., Finding Nemo, the Toy Story trilogy, WALL-E, even some of the newer films are way better than Cars 2. However, when I say this is Pixar's most important movie, to me, it was the first movie that truly indicated that Pixar wasn't... Brave got a lot of criticism as well, but at least Brave definitely tried. This movie didn't try. And at the same time, DreamWorks and other animation studios were no longer being overshadowed by Shrek since that franchise just ended, as well as the fact that DreamWorks and those same animation studios have started franchises that are generally considered amongst some of the best animated franchises up until maybe Kung Fu Panda 3 and 4, but you know, that'll get a retro Redux eventually. Now, let's just get into this franchise of Cars. A lot of people don't like the first Cars, or at least if they do like it, they don't like it as much as the other films during what's considered Pixar's prime, 95, its inception, up until 2010. I've always had a soft spot for the first Cars. I loved Cars as a kid. Like, I had a bunch of Hot Wheels and Matchbox cars, the die-cast little ones. Cars, the film, had a great rollout, especially for a 7-year-old at the time. I thought the soundtrack was great. The McDonald's toys that they were releasing were actually pretty fun to use and had great designs. And the website was really good. It was like a faux car show type thing, and I used to go to car shows with my family when I was younger. So I had a soft spot for the literal aspect of Cars, but for this film because of how Disney presented and marketed it. People criticize the logic and anatomy and, logistics of the cars in this world, but that didn't really bother me. I'm just okay with these things existing. If the film is entertaining enough, I could cut out the idea of logic, especially if the world itself is existing with these characters utilizing these things that we may not potentially see them use, various items and furniture and things of that nature, operations, surgery, the concept of death. So many things that people question when it comes to this franchise don't really bother me, because at the end of the day, when people talk about, well, it's a kid's movie, I don't usually equate that to the quality of it. I equate it to just the logistics of certain things. Perfect example, Mater and Lightning McQueen have a handshake in this movie, or a tire shake, and to be honest, it's beyond me. The implications of it are beyond me, and I don't really care about it. But by the time I saw the movie, I didn't see it in theaters. My mom and my uncle thought it was fucking stupid and they didn't want to take me, so I got it on DVD and I would rewatch it all the time. Not as much as my other Pixar or even DreamWorks DVDs like Madagascar or Finding Nemo, but I would watch the fuck out of this movie. And when the sequel was announced, I was super excited just to see the career of Lightning McQueen grow into, his prime as a more refined, more mature racer, maybe go into the international aspect of racing and things of that nature. And I mean, that is a portion of this film. Lightning is a bit more mature and he is going into a worldwide international style race, but the rest of the plot, or I guess I should say 85% of the rest of this movie, is really bad. And once I heard about the premise, I honestly, swear to God, I skipped this movie my entire life up until Thursday, April 10th, 2025, 12:13 a.m., where I decided, let's add this film to the Retro Redux and let's see how I would truly feel about it at my current age and my current space. And before I get talking about the plot, I do have to admit, I've seen Cars 1 and Cars 3, and the fact that I didn't need to watch this movie at all to understand Cars 3 just shows you how much of a filler waste of time this movie is. Now, let's get into the plot. After talking shit to the shit-talking Italian John Turturro car, Mater gets Lightning McQueen thrown into a worldwide pre, but simultaneously, there is a secret terrorist plot that is actually interloped with the race. There's two British spy cars that team up with Mater to stop this international terroristic threat. Yeah. It is one of those just go with it movies like the first Cars, but they kind of turn it up way too high in this. Now, I am able to concede various things in the Cars films, even able to concede the existence of spies and terrorists. However, the plot itself isn't really that good, and Mater isn't a strong enough main character for me to care about what's truly happening. This movie is honestly straight to DVD quality in almost every way. The animation, quality of writing, the character designs of the newer characters, and even the soundtrack in comparison to the first one is lacking. Like, seriously, listen to this banger. And then in this movie we get this. In terms of just like everything else that kind of bothers me in this movie, I mean, like, what the fuck is this? Like, seriously, I've seen this image before on DeviantArt or somewhere on Google Images, memes, iFunny, somewhere years ago when I was younger, and I was just like, oh, that's fucking disgusting, ew. But it's a spoof of Cars, I get it, haha. But it turns out that this is real. So my question is, and I guess I'm a hypocrite, I'm pushed to the other side of the logistics of the Cars argument and the world and the logic behind it. What does this mean? Does this mean she's had like reconstructive surgery and put her eyes where her headlights are? Does she, like, it bothers me. It gave me like goosebumps when I seen it. What the fuck, right? Then there's a Pope mobile. They're like literally a Pope mobile with a Pope car inside of it. So does that mean that like the history of Christianity and various other religions have also taken place in this world? It doesn't take me out of the movie. It's not bad. Just the aspect of this monstrosity, the Pope mobile, or even the mention of development of iPhones is just like, what the fuck are we talking about? Not big deals, not major parts of the plot, just minor details that stuck out to me, and I felt the need to just discuss them. I also like the idea that Italian in this movie goes from actually speaking Italian to just saying things like this. Like, it's honestly just really funny. There's also like very interesting classist language used for these beater cars that break down and I guess represent like underclassed, underprivileged people rising up and forming a terrorist group. They call them like lemons and shit like that, which I think are real life car terms, but like still, it's kind of weird how deep certain aspects of the Cars lore and world will go, and then in other areas they just say fuck it, go with it. Let's talk about the characters though. Mater is the main character of this movie, and Mater was dumb, very simple in the first one, but I don't think he does anything in this movie that is intelligent on purpose up until like maybe the last 10 minutes. He's also a fan freaky ass nigga, 69 guy.
When she starts giggling, prepare to be squirted.
I'm not a huge fan of films where characters are like lucky dumb and everything just happens to work out for them. And by the time he has an actual crisis in the film and realizes that the entire time he's actually been a major pain in the ass to pretty much everyone, you don't really care, because you don't really know whether or not if he's smart enough to understand that and make that change. And honestly, if I remember correctly, by the time we get to Cars 3, he really doesn't.
I'm just not getting anywhere with the train. If anything, I've gotten slower, not faster.
All right, let me think. Oh, you know what I'd do?
What?
I don't know.
Next up we get Lightning McQueen, and he gets super shafted. Like, oh my god, the falling out with Mater is so contrived and lame, but at the same time I wish this character was given much more to do. Maybe be the person that Mater is trying to rescue and have Lightning McQueen be even more intertwined and interloped with the overall terrorist plot, but no, not really. When it comes to the two British spies that I mentioned earlier, the first one we get is Finn McMissile, played by, for some fucking reason, a Michael Caine. Disney must have drew the bag at bro. Like, there's no way, right? He's a badass character though, I'm not gonna lie. All of the action set pieces related to the Finn McMissile character are the best parts of the movie. They're not amazing, but you know, he's still pretty cool. It's also really dark, this movie, I must say, because cars will fucking die. People are cubed and crushed, splatted, exploded. It's insane. Finn McMissile is also like a fucking triple changer transformer. He could turn into a boat. He could also be a like submarine type thing, and he's also swinging around the place like he's fucking Spider-Man with his grappling hooks. We also get Holly Schiffwell, who is the younger, less experienced agent thrusted into the field into this mission, but she's also like the love interest of Mater, and I gotta say, like, she's also a fine ass car. I think She ain't like Sally or nothing, but you know what I mean? Like, you know, wood, right? But much like Finn McMissile, which is the flaw of both of these characters, she's the inverse of Mater, which is if Mater was lucky dumb, these characters are dumb lucky. They're thrusted into the situation. It's clear that Mater isn't the person that they're looking for, but they go with it and everything just works out for them. We also got the Irving B car, aka the John Turturro car. I don't remember this character's name, I'm not gonna lie. But this character is great. He is a great somewhat antagonistic force for Lightning McQueen. Unfortunately, we don't get much of Lightning and him at all in this movie, but when we do, they're some of the funnier parts of the movie.
I maybe misjudged you because that's exactly.
Of course, I am at home, and my mama is right here. Mama! Don't worry, Mama. McQueen is very sad. I will beat his cry-baby bottom today.
He's almost as good as Chick Hicks, but obviously not quite. The villains in this movie are supremely bad. There's this Zola car, and he's uninteresting and generic as fuck. Evil German scientist, get it, haha. There's also the Eddie Izzard car, which turns out to be like the villain of the entire movie, supplying and sponsoring the race with this oil that is killing racers, causing them to blow up and shit like that. It's obvious from the beginning what the twist is and what's going on, but you know, at least they tried something, right? In terms of the things I liked, I was a fan of the somewhat stereotyped and racist humor at times. And when I say at times, I just mean the one wasabi joke.
How about that pistachio ice cream?
No, wasabi.
Oh, same old, same old. What's up with you?
But yeah, overall, I mean, there's really not much to say. This movie is a waste of time. I skipped this movie for, 14 years. I skipped it to watch Cars 3, and it really has no place in the franchise in terms of importance or connectivity or any connective tissue really to 1 and 3. You could just watch Cars 1 and 3 and treat Cars 2 like it was a what if story. That's pretty much it. I really can't say much. This movie isn't as deflating as this sounds. I guess I was just expecting it to be way worse than what it was. But it turns out it's just whatever. It's skippable, and it isn't bad enough to be offensive or comedic. And that's it. What did you guys think of Cars 2? Is there anyone out there that thinks Cars 2 is the best of this trilogy? If so, let me know. I don't really care if you agree with me. I feel like most people agree that this movie is just like whatever. But if you really enjoy this film, I would love to know why. Like seriously, please let me know. And I will see y'all in the next Retro Redux.